welcome back to my kitchen. So today we are going to make some cookies. We're going to make the cookies called Snickerdoodles. Those are a holiday favorite, and we're going to make some today. They're super easy to make. We start with 2 sticks of butter, which is a cup of butter. We have 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 large eggs, 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to get all that mixed up, and I will tell you the directions in just a moment. But we will also need separate ingredients because we're going to roll the cookie. You hear the oven? I've already preheated. So we're going to roll the cookies into little balls, and they're going to be covered in cinnamon sugar. So we're going to need 1/2 cup of cinnamon and 2 teaspoons of sugar for that. So let me do the ingredients one more time. For the cookie batter, a cup of a cup of butter, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 large eggs, 2 3/4 cups flour, 2 teaspoons cream of tartar, a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. To roll it in, we're gonna need 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, so we start by putting our butter. Now the butter must be room temperature, because if it's not room temperature, it won't incorporate to everything well. And you don't want it melted, you want it to cream together. Okay, so we're gonna start with 2 sticks of butter. We're gonna start with 2 eggs, and I also like to keep those at room temperature, so I set those out much earlier in the day today. And the sugar. So butter, eggs, and sugar are going in this bowl. So let me move it to where you can see what goes in the bowl. Now I'm going to attempt this. It's not a whisk, beater. And put that on there, because this will scrape the sides and get everything off the sides and the bottom for us. Now I've never explained what this locks it down. So sometimes when you're combining things, it can make it want to pop up, and see, now I can't lift it up just that much. If I push that lever back, I could lift it all the way out and make a mess. And then on the other side, there's a switch that looks like this, but it's the speed. So right now it's at low speed, higher, and goes up very high. Let's turn it so you can see both. Okay, so the butter, you can tell, is already getting very creamy. And I'm getting creamy too. Okay. So this is 1 cup. Every stick of butter is 1/2 cup. Okay, so we got 2 sticks or 1 cup of butter. And then to that we're going to add the sugar. It's 1.5 cups of sugar. So we're going to stop it, because if you don't, it will sling it everywhere. So we're going to just add that. As well as, now sometimes I will go ahead and let these mix together, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let them kind of cream together. And then I'll add my eggs. So very nice texture when you do just the butter and sugar together first, and then add your eggs. But this little attachment really likes to sling things up on the sides. So even though it gets things off the sides, it kind of slings it up too. You gotta kind of watch that. Now this is a nice low speed, so I'm gonna just leave it on and add my eggs. So as it should right now, it's looking very, very thin. To this, we're going to add everything else. And I've already put everything else in the bowl. Okay, so in this bowl, I have the 2 3/4 cups of flour. Sorry, I'm trying to get this angled right. It makes you seasick a little bit. It's 2 3/4 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons cream of tartar, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I've put it in this mixing bowl and I just stirred it all together. I'm going to turn the speed down on the cookies because if you don't, you will wear all of this. So I put it on the lowest setting. And I still don't trust it because that still seems a little fast. So I'm putting in, watch how I'm doing this. I'm using my rubber spatula as a spoon and just putting it in just a little bit at a time. Could I go ahead and just dump it? Sure, I could. Oh, you almost fell. Yeah, I could just put everything in, but it would take it a while to get very well incorporated and it could be lumpy, so a little bit at a time is best. So putting it on low here. Ooh, see, that's even on low it wanted to come up and do that. So see, I am okay, you probably can't see, but I've got flour everywhere. A little tiny addition now. Little tiny additions. So that was excellent because I mopped my floor today. I just made a mess. It never does. Okay, now it's getting much thicker. The way cookie batter should be looking. Still trying to dump it out at me. And now, since there's just a little bit left in the bowl, I'm gonna add a little at a time. And hope it all stays in. Oh, look at this. And now that it's all incorporated, I'm gonna speed it up a bit. And then I'm going to turn it off because I'm going to scrape the edges because a lot of it gets thrown up there and we want to make sure it's incorporated nicely as well. And just like that, right the wall too. So now I've angled it back so I can raise it up. I'm going to very slowly lift it out of the batter so it kind of shakes things off as it goes around. I'm going to scrape it with my rubber spatula. Take it loose. And there we have Snickerdoodle batter. Try to say that 10 times fast. Okay, so I'm going to bring you over here with me, where I have 2 prepared pans. I'm gonna scoot you over this way a little bit so you'll see my mess in the background. That was a mess. Ooh, got white all over me. Okay. So I'm getting it all off the sides, making sure it's incorporated, and it looks like it did a good job. This is a very sticky batter, and we need to roll it into balls. So guess what's gonna happen if I put my hands right in there? It's gonna stick right to my hands. Now I could use a scooper, like a miniature ice cream scooper, to scoop it into balls. But I have found that it likes to stay on the inside of that scoop. I don't like to use that. So what I'm going to do, I've got all my jewelry off, I'm going to get some spray and spray my hands so it doesn't stick. Okay, so I'm back. I've got my spray to spray my hands. And I got most of the mess cleaned up except the floor. Look at that flour on the floor. We're gonna remop that side of the kitchen. All right, so spray my hands because this is a very sticky dough and I don't want very sticky hands. So get about that much on a spoon, roll it into a ball, bringing over my cinnamon sugar. Okay. Make sure it's nicely coated in the cinnamon sugar and just place it on the pan. Okay, so we're gonna do all the dough just like that. Let me show you one more. Roll it. See, notice it's not sticking to my hands. And then because it's especially wet, that cinnamon sugar really wants to stick to the outside of it. Okay, just putting it on the pan. So we're gonna do that to all the rest of the cookies. I'm gonna put it in the oven, which should be preheating to 350 degrees. And I'm gonna bake them for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then they'll be done. That easy, okay? Show you in just a moment. And here we have the first pan out of the oven. I got 30 cookies out of this batch. The recipe said it'd be 48, so I guess they were expecting a slightly smaller cookie. But I got 30 cookies out of it. So this was from the first pan. And look how beautiful they are. They're awesome. They puff up just a little bit and it smells amazing. I hope you try these sometime. Talk to you again soon.